Hi, my name is Sunny, and you're on our YouTube channel again. Thanks for joining us, and we're at the Sprott Natural Resource Symposium in Vancouver. It's the second to last day, and we've seen a couple of speakers today, especially Brent Cook had some really interesting presentations today. So Brent, from Exploration Insights, thanks a lot for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for catching me here in the hall.
Absolutely, I know. I caught you right at the last minute here, so thanks. So when we talked with Brent last time, we were at PDAC, and it was quite interesting. The stage of the mining sector at that time, the sector was coming back quite strongly. Gold and silver were quite strong as well, and still is. And our focus at that time was the mid-tier. So I guess when we were talking with Joe, that was a focus that you were specifically looking at. Now it's been several months since then. So let's talk about what has happened since then in the mid-tier space, and then we'll talk about what you've been talking about in terms of the juniors.
Yeah, well, I think, at least I hope I said in our interview at PDAC, was that in November I turned from actually being pretty negative.
Right, that's correct, yeah.
And brought Joe on. We started buying what we felt were mid-sized companies that the majors would acquire.
Right.
And that worked out pretty well. We've had 4 companies acquired. The downside is now we got to go out and buy something else.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not seeing, and neither is Joe seeing any really good deposits or companies with deposits out there in that mid-tier space anymore. Mm-hmm. And my feeling is that it's time to roll down into much earlier stage projects, because on the whole, the industry is not finding enough ore, ounces, whatever, to replace what's being mined. And that's going to be a pinch point that I want to be involved in, is in new discoveries.
Right.
There aren't going to be many. There are very few new discoveries, though. They're going to be valued. So yeah, we're rolling into the lower tier, early stage, more riskier stuff.
So do you still think though that you might see more M&A activity in the mid tiers, or is now really, you think that, we've seen some value being created here, let's now go to the juniors and get some more value from there?
There's still a few companies that might be worth acquiring by larger companies. The problem is we've seen all these companies over double in price.
Right.
With a 10-12% increase in the gold price.
Right.
So now these companies are so much more expensive to acquire. Mm-hmm. Again, I think that's going to force the mining companies further down the food chain to the juniors. I don't think there's that much left to acquire.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So then where do you go from here now in terms of what you're telling your subscribers? I mean, I listened to your presentation, and your focus now is let's look at juniors. So what are some things that you're looking at right now in specific jurisdictions? Are there specific jurisdictions that you're looking at right now?
Yeah, well, what we do in the newsletter, we don't really tell anybody anything except what we're doing with our money. We buy, we talk about it, and that's how we make our money, through subscriptions and our investments. Mm-hmm. And what I'm laying out is kind of what you said, is that I think the majors are going to have to start moving down the food chain and acquiring earlier stage projects. I think discoveries, although few and far between, we can identify those early enough I'll jump on something if it's just the soil sampling and geology looks right. So that's where we're going. Mm-hmm. That's where we're going, yeah.
But have the mid-tiers and majors, have they reached a point to say, okay, we've proved to the market that, we're profitable, we're now focusing on ounces, and we're able to make more profit on those ounces? Are we there yet that they can say, okay, let's go heavy? Because the only one I've seen really is a Cisco. That's the one that's been very aggressive in the junior space. But
nope, we have not seen them actually turn the corner. In fact, just the last quarter, with the increase in the gold price, the increase in costs went up just a little bit. So, no, we're not seeing that. And again, that goes down to the point where they need new, high-quality deposits. And you've seen a Cisco, an Agnico Eagle, and Centerra.
Yeah. That's right.
They're the 3 companies that I can think of that are actually moving right down the food chain now, and working with and acquiring juniors.
Yeah. So what will it take then for some of these majors and mid-tiers to realize, we have to refocus our funds into these juniors and look for these new ounces? Because not only is there declining ounces available, there's also grade. Sean actually talked about in his slide that the grade has gone down significantly over the last 25 years or so.
They probably do, or are beginning to. Mm-hmm. The problem is that the ones that haven't been, the CEOs that haven't been fired, looking at the ones that were fired,
Right.
and they were fired because they acquired assets that were marginal to uneconomic. And we wrote off something like $50 billion
Right.
in the mining space the last couple of years. So they're really hesitant to move in and buy something. But they're going to have to because of what we've just been talking about,
Right.
is that production's down, or going down, discoveries are down, demand is increasing, and I don't think it's something that an increase in the metal price is going to fix.
Right.
Because most of these deposits, I'd say 80%, 75% of the deposits that are out there that are marginal will probably remain marginal no matter what the gold price is.
Right.
Because they've got fundamental problems.
So so going back on the question of what areas are you looking at in terms of where juniors are located for youth, for what you recommend to investors to kind of look at more closely?
What areas? I mean,
like what countries?
Yeah.
I mean, you did.
We've got kind of a general rule. If it's a dry country, nothing good happens there.
Okay.
I mean, alcohol dry, not dry dry.
Right.
I think the usual belts. Certainly Canada, maybe Nevada, Mexico's good. All down through Latin America, excluding the basket case of Venezuela.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't go to Bolivia.
Yeah.
But most of those countries are fine. Certainly West Africa, for the most part, is good. Eastern Europe's good. Australia. So really the same terrains. It's just a matter of finding the company that's got the rare quality project or deposit.
Right. Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
So
we'll
then,
go anywhere.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then that's good. So then, let's now switch over to the Sprott conference. I mean, you've been here for the last few days now. What has been your mood, or what you've observed here at the conference? Do you think there's a significant switch that you think, okay, the markets have turned, but has it really turned where you're seeing every investor out here saying, this is really a good time now. We're back.
This is a good show, I think, because it brings in people that are more cautious.
Yeah.
So to me, this is a relatively cautious audience that's here researching what the markets are doing, what the experts are saying about the markets and the companies, and making decisions as to what buy intelligently. They're not here just saying, I got to have something. I don't care. Just give me a list. I'll go buy it all.
Yeah.
They're looking at it more rationally, and I think that's good. So, and that's positive, and that it's still a rational, more or less, market. I mean, that's what I'm seeing, and it's positive, but nobody's jubilant.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I guess what I've observed is that you're seeing a renewed sense of confidence in the market amongst investors, but they're still being very, they're being very diligent. I guess you could say, put it that way, which is still good. I mean, you're seeing a lot of the money come back from the side, and a lot of renewed interest. So that's what I've noticed as well. But I guess any last thoughts then in terms of how we go forward for the remainder of 2016 and into 2017?
Well, I talked to a marketing guy today, and as you probably know, my marketing is rather stealth for the newsletter Exploration Insights. So what he suggested is that I tell your audience to check out my website, check out my newsletter. You can subscribe. It's on a monthly basis.
Right.
You get to see everything I've written, everything we bought, sold, all the good, bad, and the ugly. And if you don't like it after a month, you just quit.
And actually, probably another thing to note is that since you were here doing the presentation, I think you can get access to your presentation that you did here, right, or no?
Oh, that's right. We've got a report we've done on just picking the fatal flaws, a little guideline to fatal flaws to look for in a company. You're certainly welcome to email us at the website where it says contact us and ask for that report, and we'll send it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to get a copy of his presentation, we'll make sure it's available. We'll put a link there, and you can reach Brent Cook anytime and contact him directly and subscribe to his Exploration Insights, and it's explorationinsights.com. And Brent, thank you so much for being on the segment, and look forward to the next time. Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right. Great.
See you, man.
All right. Cheers.